Welcome back to Student Pages Spotlight series. I'm your host Izzy, and today I'm joined by the incredibly talented Alicia. Thank you so much for being with us today. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on representing Poland in this year's Eurovision Song Contest with your song Pray, a track that's been streamed over 1.5 million times. Such an incredible song. What does it mean to you to be a part of such a global event with such a huge fan base? And how has this helped to inspire your creative process?
Well, first of all, I feel super grateful that my Eurovision fans stayed with me for the past 4 years, and that motivated me to keep going and make new music. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm back, and I feel like many people really wanted me to go back, even outside of Poland. They wrote me many messages for the past 4 years, being like, "When are you coming back to Eurovision?" So this year, I didn't even plan to go for to Eurovision. I just wrote a song that felt super, super magical to me. That's why we thought of Eurovision, and we just felt like it was worth trying to to show this type of song on Eurovision stage, and it worked out.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's really lovely to have so many people supporting you from the Eurovision crowd. But you did win The Voice Poland back in 2019. Can you give us a
Yeah.
little bit of background on how you got into the music industry and what that experience was like?
I feel like I started singing before I started talking, to be honest. That was always a part of my life. I started in a gospel choir when I was 5 years old, and then I did my first TV show when I was also 5 years old. And then I started going to vocal classes and then singing competitions. But I truly didn't feel like my life, like I knew I wanted to sing, but I didn't feel like I would have a chance to do it professionally and I would have a chance to be a singer. Um, and later on, The Voice of Poland happened when I was 17 years old, and I won The Voice, and I signed a record deal, and then my life completely changed. Everything changed, and after that, I went to Sianzana Success Competition, which was a competition to represent Poland in Eurovision 2020, and then COVID hit. Everything stopped. So, like my career frozen for like a year, and then I went back and stayed with my label for some times. So it's for some time after that. And then I finished the contract and I felt like I was finally free when it comes to my art and my music. And I wrote many new songs, and Pray was one of them.
Yeah, wonderful. And so it's been such a whirlwind overall with everything that's happened with COVID and everything else. So, are there any people involved in your life that have motivated you to continue through these times and given you that shoulder to lean on?
My whole family is super supportive towards me, but I would say the most I'm most influenced by my mom, who just always inspired me to keep going and be true to myself and to keep fighting for my dreams. Since since my childhood, she was my number one fan, and she always did everything to make my dreams come true, just signing me up for singing lessons and like music school. She just wanted me to develop and keep going, and I feel super grateful that I have this kind of relationship with my mother.
Yeah, that's really beautiful and it's really nice to have your family being there to support you. But what is the overall inspiration behind your music?
I would say my inspiration when it comes to lyrics just come from my life and from my experiences. But when it comes to music and the sounds, I get more I my biggest influences are from gospel and soul music, and I grew up listening to Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Etta James. So I would say that from very early age, I was introduced to such beautiful music And also my parents, even though none of my family members are musicians, they had a very specific taste, and I I I was kind of infected by their taste, and it just has a huge influence on my music right now, and you can sense that in a way.
Well, that leads me really nicely onto my next question, which was going to be, could you describe your music to anyone that's maybe not familiar, or what do you think is the category of your music? What do you think makes it stand out?
It's hard to put it in a one category.
Or
My
is there
music,
anything just in general how you would
my,
describe it?
my music is a romance of soul, R&B, gospel, hip hop, and pop all at once, I
A
would
big
say.
blend.
Yeah, it is, honestly.
Definitely.
Because when I think of even my song "Pray," it's hard to put it in one category.
Mhm.
It's like such a specific song, and I really didn't want to be. I didn't want to be put in like one box when it comes to music. I always wanted to experiment and develop my like music flavors and genres. So that's why I don't describe myself as one specific genre, just mix of all my favorite ones.
Definitely. And you can then see the people that you've taken inspiration from and where the inspiration for the music has come from really shows within this blend of genres. So, with that being said, how important was it to find people in the music industry that were in sync to the type of music that you were looking to produce?
It was one of the most important things in my life because there are not many producers with R&B and soul flavor in Poland. So I've grown and developed so much since I met people who are also influenced by soul and R&B and wanted to do it, even though it wasn't the biggest genre in Poland. One of them is my producer Vera, who I wrote "Pray" with, and I wrote many songs with her as well. And it's really special to me because first of all, she kind of she gave me a place where I could truly be myself. And also, our song "Pray" is a second is a second track in Eurovision history produced by a woman. So that's so special and important to us because she as well was a girl from Poland that wanted to make R&B and soul music. So we kind of like got together, and even though it wasn't easy, we stayed true to ourselves and just did what felt right for us.
Definitely, and I think that's such an incredible thing. And like you said, it's so special to have that. And so that was a great piece. That in itself was a great piece of advice in staying true to yourself. But if you had any advice for students or young people looking to make it into the music industry, what would that advice be?
Don't let anyone tell you who you should be. Just stay true to your intuition and what feels right to you when it comes to making music, and never give up on your dreams. Just fight for yourself.
Yeah, really well said. And so, in this perseverance of your dream, do you feel like you've ever been affected by hate or just stressful times overall? And how have you managed to overcome this to get to where you are now?
100%. I get like hateful comments on daily basis, so I had to kind of get used to it and just have this shield, like put this shield on that it doesn't really affect me in a way it affected me when I was a teenager. When I was young, I would care about hate comments, but right now I feel like they don't mean anything. Like when it comes to being constructive and like saying something that you don't like, yeah, I'm fine with it. But being hateful in general, it's something you should always avoid. So I just don't care about haters.
Well, as you should, and honestly, I mean, it's I think this industry is so difficult for stuff like that. So I think it's really well said just to not care about it. And I'm sure
Yeah,
that
that's it.
with Eurovision also being such a competitive show, that also might bring some stresses. So, what have you found to have been your biggest challenge so far?
Biggest challenge is working on my new staging at the moment. I can't say much about it, but it's going to be huge, and it's something I've never done before on stage. So that's my main challenge, working and rehearsing every single day just to make sure everything is perfect. And yeah, I would love to say something more, but it's a surprise. So you will see in a month.
Well, my final question was going to be, what are you working on right now? But I'm gonna guess that is the main priority right now, unless there's
That's the
anything
main
else
that's the
yeah.
main priority. Also, I'm working on my new music, so yeah, performance and music and doing stuff around Eurovision, interviews, meetings, etc. So right now until May, life revolves around Eurovision.
Lots going on then.
Yes, but I love
Well,
it.
definitely. So that's all I've got for today, but thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you today, and I can't wait to see the staging surprises and everything that you've got coming up. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll catch you all next time.